The other 12 amendments can be coupled together in one group. They're seeking to make sure that this regime applies to people who are akin to an employee of an institution. That's what that particular set of amendments do. I have been told by the government that if this House passes any one of those amendments, the position of the Cook Labor government is that this bill will never see the light of day. It's reckless and politically childish in behaviour to say that the House of Review, if we were to change anything in this particular bill, the government's going to take its bat and ball, go home and say to the survivors of child sexual abuse, you get nothing as a result of this. I really take umbrage to the suggestion by the government spokesperson on this that says somehow there has been a swift response. Stop saying that. It has not been a swift response. We're the last jurisdiction to do something. That's not a swift response. And to then suggest that somehow as a result of this is going to create, quote, unjustifiable delay. Every inch of blame in respect to this matter falls at the feet of the government. If there's somebody that's been in the parliament for the last 20 years and asked more questions in respect to child sexual abuse matters other than me, please tell me their name. If there's a member of parliament who prior to serving into parliament had to take more statements from victims of crime and child sexual abuse, please let me know their name. So to suggest, again, disingenuously and actually I would say despicably, that somehow the opposition now are teaming up with the Greens and that this is some kind of religious rights agenda is disgusting. All that needs to happen here is that the application of this law applies to every institution and organisation. And in the course of this debate, have we had an explanation from the government as to what's wrong with the amendment? Still not. Nothing. There's been 2 government members who have spoken this afternoon. Neither of them have explained what the problem is. Tell me what the problem is with the amendment. Explain it to me. Because nobody's done that so far and every single stakeholder says that it improves the bill. We actually wouldn't be here if sometime in the last 9 years that the government have been on the Treasury benches, they had actually implemented the Royal Commission recommendations. No matter what form that this bill ultimately takes, that still won't be done. And that's why the Auditor-General late last year said it was disappointing the slow progress that has been made. So I'm not going to tolerate in this chamber, outside this chamber, any suggestion that the fault for any of this belongs with the opposition. It might suit the government to just have this chamber as a rubber stamp that always says that their legislation is flawless pieces of art that cannot be critiqued, but then there would be no point in having the Legislative Council. None whatsoever. And finally, members from the government who have spoken today have been at pains to refer statistically to the percentage of people who they say will be helped by this bill. At any stage did they say 100%? Not once. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and say it was the 70%. Do we care about the 30%? Do we care about the 30% of the victims who, on the government's own admission, won't be addressed by this particular bill? So, for those reasons, the opposition takes no joy whatsoever in indicating that we won't oppose the motion that's currently before the House. I would prefer to have it done this week, but if I've got the choice of either the Greens' proposal of doing this in 3 months' time or the government's proposal, which is to do nothing ever because we're withdrawing the bill, well, obviously I'm going to choose the 3-month option, albeit, I reiterate, we say it can be done this week.